Hello crafting peeps and welcome to my studio. We're going to take a look at my main work table today and I'll talk about how I put it together and some different storage solutions. This is Vicki, the Literal Crafter in Western New York, and I'm so glad you're here with me. So I'm standing in the entrance to my main nook. If you've seen other videos, this should be familiar to you. And if you notice, my work table is in the tall position. So I started out that way just to kind of show you how this works, and you'll see it as it goes down. So let's take a look over here. The top of the pegboard, it's difficult. If I had to reach all the way back, I do have to get on my tiptoes to reach that, but I can reach it. So up above, I have the twine where I clip on things that I've made that I particularly like and inspire me, and I leave them up there until I use them, and then I put something else up there. So the wall itself is not usable space because this table goes up and down. I made the decision with the table that I absolutely needed use of the wall. So I mounted the pegboard to the table. I'm going to put the table down and I'm going to push the button and then back up. So you can see the space between the pegboard and the cards is getting bigger because the table is going down. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can show you this pretty easily. Very glad to have everything on wheels. So what I did on the back side is I added wood to the back of the pegboard. So I'll just show you at this end, but there's 3 of these. These are called 1x verticals. I reinforced the table. Let's see. Oops. So you can see here, I added a piece of wood to the table, and that's what these are mounted into. So it's very stable. Put my table back. So that table came on wheels, which was very nice that I didn't have to come up with a solution for that. And I'm just going to start at the left end of my table. Whoops. Let me try to get a good camera angle for you. I think that's pretty good. And we'll talk about what's on the table and anything specific storage related. So I'm going to show you my cup holder. This is just a clamp on cup holder, so I can move this and clamp this anywhere. But believe it or not, getting the cup off my table was great. First of all, I can't knock it over, and yes, sometimes I do leave it open. But just that cup sitting around, I had to keep reaching over it. There wasn't a good spot. So it's great that it's sitting here. I have a little power pack. This also clamps onto the table. It has 2 plugs, 2 USB plugs, 2 regular plugs. So I have my light that I can adjust here. And then, so these are my paint. Most of these are paint markers. A few of them are not. I think they're called Copic, C-O-P-I-C markers. They are not paint markers, but people use them for coloring, but I like their fine tips, so they're in there. So what this storage is from the Dollar Tree, these are wine bottle storage. I'm going to move my laptop so that I can show you the storage. So what I did is I made a shelf on top. I have a piece of plywood. I put lips kind of around it on 3 sides. so that it sits on top and it grabs, so I can't pull it off. So that's the top, and it made, rather than having these open, it made that more effective use of space. I'm going to leave this off for a minute so that I can show you the storage. So I thrifted some floral foam, very cheap. They were circles. I cut them, and I put them in the back of each one of these wine bottle holders so that the markers wouldn't shove all the way back. Otherwise, I have to reach way in. You don't have to do that. I just liked doing it. It makes it more functional for me. So these wine bottle holders, they just stack on top of each other. So then what I did, turn this so you can see. So I taped these together. I don't know what it is with me, but I would constantly reach in, bump this, and it would jump off a little bit. So I just taped them together so that I wouldn't knock them apart easily. Then the other thing that I did is I made these little, I don't know if I should call them hammocks. And because things are taped together, it's kind of hard to show. Let's see if I can get a better view of that. All I did is take a piece of cardstock. I made essentially a spine, if you will. It's like a little cubby. And I taped it to both sides of these. Because even when you push them tight, there's space in between them. And then, so there's a few markers I use probably every day. A black, a white, a pencil, a micron fine, ultra fine tip marker pen, which is actually upstairs right now, is usually in here. And I did that for quick grabs because those are things I use every day. And then I just set them on one of these shelf liners just because as I put my laptop on and off, they were sliding. So this kind of just keeps them intact. So I like that marker solution. I still have room for quite a few more markers. I don't feel like I need a lot more markers, but at least I have the space for them. So then next to that, I made this little shelf. I'm going to pull it out so you can see it. So it's just two sides. I put this in here for support, and then this is a 3/4 inch top. I don't really put anything heavy on here. But I made this because I found this is several iterations of storage that have gotten me here. So I used to have a set of wooden drawers here, and I found that the drawers weren't really useful for me, but I did like having the shelf top space. So normally my phone sits up here. This little thing sits up here. My Fabri-Tac glue sits under here. This is here, believe it or not, I use this quite a bit for various things, whether it's putting a glue bottle in or other. So I like having the space underneath, but I wanted a shelf top without the drawers. So I just made this. Then I have these metal drawers. These have various clips in them. So I have little clips. I have these clips. I think, are these called bull or bulldog? I don't know. These are big clips. Various types of clips for holding things when I'm working normally in journals for the most part. That's the broken one. This drawer is mostly empty, but I do have extra. So these are ones that got punched or created for whatever reason. They're the things that go around a tag hole. So those are in there. And the bottom drawer, I don't go in often. I normally just barely open it and throw things inside. I'll just show you this real quick. So these are things I'm collecting that I'm going to use in one or more projects. But like, so this is from an acrylic paint. And it's the paint that builds up and dries where you close the bottle. These are just different pieces. They're artsy themed that I'm going to be using in a project. I can't even open that right now. Well, let's see if I can. Magnets. So these came in some kind of kit that I thrifted. They're magnets, like bookmark type magnets. Occasionally I reach in here and alter one or two for a project. And they're in there simply because they fit there, but I do know they're there. So between my handmade shelf and my little metal drawers, I have a couple things standing up. So this is a mark making book. Some of my favorite marks to make, I put on index cards. So some people do them in a book, but I like them on index cards because I can just lay my cards out and look and see and choose my marks from there. And then I have some experiments in here. Things that I've tried and I've made notes about how I did them. I love this. Gonna buy some stuff so I can make some stuff. This was just something I did for fun. And then what I've stuck in here, I take this with me if I'm going to be out and about thrifting, especially for craft supplies. So this is my distress inventory for the most part. It's what I have. My alcohol inks, my dilution sprays, liquid pearls, etc., so that I don't buy duplicates. And then these are just kind of wish lists of things that I'm looking to get so that I can remember to look for them when I'm out. So I just dropped this in my little purse. I carry a bag with me and put my purse in it because I have a tiny purse. And I take this with me. Look at that, more clear packaging for pockets. I got to put that with the pocket stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go across the tabletop and then I'm going to go up onto the pegboard. So one of the things that I want to point out about this pegboard solution, by mounting the pegboard, let me show you where this, I'll move this shelf because it's easy. By mounting the pegboard so that it sits on top of the table, there's no gap. Right? Nothing can fall off the table and drop down. And I did that purposely. So I've actually seen a system online where you can buy clamps that will clamp to your table and then the pegboard is mounted above. But you have like 8, 10, 12 inches of empty space. So it'd be very difficult to put things back there on your table and raise the table up and down. You have all that empty space there that things could fall out. And that's why I liked mounting it directly to the table. It also doesn't have the flex that it would have if it was mounted using the clamp system. Okay, so now even if you don't have a table that goes up and down, you can still consider mounting pegboard to your desk or your table because then you don't have to mount into your wall. Just food for thought. Okay, so on my desktop, I have these little trays and these, their contents change with time. So when I'm working along on a project and I have something pretty small, I drop it in the tray and then normally at the end of my project, I clean out the trays. These are here because they're empty, but I want to look up, I looked up a long time ago what to do with empty glue sticks, and there was a good idea. Now I don't remember what it was, so I want to look that up. So I have these trays here to catch that stuff. Then I have just a pin cushion for any pins that I have in my glue bottles. When I take the pin out, I shove it in here and then I know where it is. My acrylic blocks. These are just a couple little notebooks that I use for various things. I just keep them on hand. So I'm going to, just recently I made a change here. So I used to work on 2 of these big white glass mats by We Are Memory Makers, I think, or Memory Keepers. And I just recently swapped one of my big white ones for the smaller Tim Holtz black one. And the main reason why I did that, I didn't like losing this extra glass space, but I think it will be better when I'm shooting process videos at my work table because of the black background. I won't get into what was happening, but I'm pretty sure that the meter on my camera was being shut down by the white. Anyway, so I have this big empty space here. I haven't made any decisions yet, but I am thinking of making a tray like this to fill that space. Okay, in this tray here, I have several archival ink pads that I use a lot. I have my silver and gold metallic, and then I have a few of the Stampin' Up! Ones that I particularly like. I made this, so this is just a box that I had. And I added these cardboard separators. So if you do this, there's packing tape here, just a piece of it, and then there's packing tape here. If you don't do it on both sides, they kind of collapse on you. So these are my distress colors that I use probably every day. My neutrals. I have these here. These are for my archival pads. This has been on my desk since I learned about mixed media and junk journals, and it's great. So it's Post-it tape. You just pull it and rip it, and it's great for labeling things, and you know how I like to sort and organize. I have my refresher spray for my ink pads, very handy. And I have everything in one of these. So this is a lid. This is a lid to a photo box. And I have everything in that mainly for cleaning purpose or fining purposes. So occasionally I have bead explosions where beads go everywhere. Or just so you can see I haven't cleaned in a bit, right? So there's a dust bunny back there. Right, if I want to wipe down my desktop, by having things inside of these trays, I can just lift off the entire tray rather than picking up all the parts and pieces. So I have another tray here. And this is just a little holder I made for the foam, the blending foams for those ink pads that I use every day. I forget what these are called, you know, to push down and get pressure on something. If you've watched my videos, you know I find uses for these. So I have those. This is just my microfiber. And then I have weights. So these are to weigh things down. Sometimes I put things under a book, but for smaller things I use those. This is another top for my archival ink cleaner. And then in the back there, these are for my distress inks, mainly for my neutrals, but there's some colors. These are for oxides. And then I'm going to back up just so that you can see where we're at. We're at the end of the table. This is my my stamping station, which I showed you in another video. So behind that, I have my electric bottle shaker. This is just clean water that I keep here for dipping brushes or whatnot. Paper towels, Clorox cleanups. I have my large archival ink pad. If you've never tried this, I do highly recommend it. Gloves in a bottle. My Stampin' Mist. So this I could spray on my scrubbing pad to clean stamps. I have one of these. I have a love-hate relationship with jump rings. And I have this to help me with the jump rings, and I don't have any good way to store it. So it sits there. A mini clamp. And that's what's on my actual desktop. I just want to show you something really quick because I have these foams always on these 6 blending tools. I want to just show you an idea for storing foams on your ink pads. So hopefully I don't make anybody sick with the camera motion here. So I'm just going to show you on my archive pads. On my oxide pads. So what I did is I got those felt, adhesive felt circles, like, you can put them under appliances or you put them under things so that you can easily slide them on their surfaces. I stuck them on there and I stick the pad on there. So anytime I grab an ink pad, I have the blending tool, the blending cushion that goes with it. It doesn't take up any more space than your ink pad does, and it works pretty well. The minis, in case you don't know this, fit a foamy perfectly. I'm calling them foamies. I don't know what they are. Foam blending thingies. Okay. So what's on my desk and what's behind me allows me to move very fluid when I'm working. Let's take a look at what's on the pegboard. So at this end are just pretties. So I made this in the BB Bash, I think it was. Absolutely loved it. It's designed to go over a page in a journal and stick out as if it's a bookmark. But I liked it so much, I left it out. And I think I liked it so much because it's so not me. It's not my typical work. So I just have that hanging up for inspiration. I have a few other things for inspiration. I have some small mats that I can cut on. So these are just different tools. Just give you guys a look-see. My scissors. I recently found the Tim Holtz recoil scissors on officesupply.com. I think the big ones were like $8. The little ones, I don't know what they were, 6 or 7. I could not believe how cheap they were. So I splurged and got them. So various scissors all here. These are, one of these, it might have been this one, was at Walmart, and I think that's the one from Walmart. And these are just zip tied onto my pegboard. So see right here? They're just zip tied on. They're very sturdy. They're not going anywhere. So these are all different glues, and my goal is to get away from all of these types of glues. I have a bunch of this that I had ordered a long time ago, so I'm just trying to use it up. It's not my favorite, but here's a tip for you. So this container is from this glue. When I used up one of these, I took the cover off, I cleaned it all out, and then I put my favorite glue in, art glitter. Because, whoops, I think the applicators in this one are really good. I do like the fine tip on the art glitter, but I do like these applicators. So I have art glitter with the fine tip here, and then I have art glitter in this container, in case you've never seen these, has this wide applicator, and then it has a smaller. So that's how I do my art glitter glue. I love Fabri-Tac as well, but I think I like art glitter better. I have a metal magnet piece up here, and these just, I put magnets on them to stick them up there. And then just some more storage. And then down here, these are tools that I might not use every day, but it makes sense to hang them on the pegboard. So I have some needle nose pliers, some regular pliers, cutters. This is the Stampin' Up! Version. I think the other version is Crocodile, maybe. And I should point out over here, this is the edge of my fabric, the side of my fabric storage. These are a few stamps that I use a lot, so I just slapped them on here, and that's where they live. So that is my work table. A lot going on there. I feel like it's very organized. It works well for me. I have what I need within my reach. But I do tweak it from time to time. You know, we all learn as we work in our art, and I just tweak it to make it better. But hopefully I gave you some tips and tricks that might be helpful for you. If you did like the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel, and hopefully you will come back for the next episode of my studio tour.